Welcome, Winning Tactics podcast listeners. We are going to give it just a minute for everybody to enjoy it on LinkedIn. We are also on Facebook Live right now, so we'll be back with you in just a moment. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Winning Tactics podcast live Thursday, April. Gosh, I've lost track of what day it is. 23rd. Thank you. I am with my partner in business and friend, Josh Russo. We are here today. He is going to give us the down and dirty on digital marketing. I definitely encourage you all to stay tuned because he is going to just give us some really, really good nuggets of information. How to be found on the web, what's important, and why you should have a digital media strategy. So, Josh, tell us who you are, what you're about, and let's get going on this thing.
Short and life story, because I could talk. You know this.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So real quick. So I'll just go back to the beginning. So I've been in front of computers since I was 5 years old. My dad, when the first home computers came out and were sold on the market in 1981. He opened a computer store and was helping people with that. So I've always been around technology. Fast forward later years, about 2006, started building custom systems, helping people with computers, things like that. Had a bunch of restaurant jobs, learned coaching, management, went to Burger King school. No, not really. It was at Pizza Hut. But I learned about coaching, management, training, and became really good at it. And did really well in those positions, and then I worked at the bank when it crashed in 2008, 2009 time frame. And then decided from there that corporate America wasn't for me, and then I started doing my own thing. So I've been kind of running my own businesses since 2009. And then I got into opening a computer store in 2010, 2011, something around there. I think it was 2011. And then got a lot of people who were like, hey, this internet thing, this SEO thing, how do we get on here? How do we get ranked? How do we, I need a better website. What do we do for hosting, and things like that. And so I learned it all, figured it all out. And sorry. And then just worked really hard at it, hundreds of hours before I charged anybody, because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing and was good at it. And some of my first clients, for very, very, very cheap, got them number one on SEO, and they were making almost like $2,500 a week just from being number one. And that was back in 2013. So you can imagine now, like more population, more businesses needing help, more, just everything's more and more and more as it grows. And so now being number one on Google is huge. But yeah, and then opened Elevera and my roofing SEO to help roofers. And Elevera is a general creative agency, and just been doing that for about, 7-8 years now total. So
awesome. Well,
short and life story.
Short and life story. Welcome. I love it. So for those of you that don't, this is a little self-promotion for my business, just to be straightforward and honest with everybody. But Josh and I work together in my roofing SEO and Elevera, and really our goal is to help companies grow. So we get a little, again, self-serving today, but I think it's something that's really important for companies today. Internet traffic is up, especially with everything going on. Everybody is on the web. Everybody's all over social media. Facebook is seeing huge spikes, like 40% spikes in the first month of coronavirus. Yeah, and servers overloaded. I don't know if y'all have experienced the same slowdowns on LinkedIn like I have, but everybody's all over LinkedIn as well. So I want to talk a little bit about about how people get found digitally, right?
Mhm.
So it's because it's not just simply putting up a web page.
Yeah, it's no longer build it and they will come, right? So it used to be you opened a store in a shopping mall and people would see you from the road and they'd come in, and though that works, with traffic, the population, and people just when you're at home and you're looking for a place to eat or an agency to work with or a roofer or whatever, like the first thing you're gonna do is go on here and say roofer near me, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
gonna do, or Chinese food near me, or whatever it is that you want. And so that's grown stronger and stronger over the past. I've seen it happen over the past 10 years, where it's just like super super competitive, and there's hundreds of businesses doing the same thing in every city, and it's like, so how do you get found? Well, you have to do the right things. You have to put the right things in place. I know on our live yesterday we talked about branding strategy. So if you don't mind, I want to talk about the digital foundation, like the core of like getting found. So like there's some key elements to getting found on the web, and then there's some key elements to getting found getting found at the top. So if you're in the top three, what we call the snack pack, it's on, you see a map and then you see three businesses and you'll see their reviews and the name and their phone number, like right at the top. Normally it's after the ads. And then under that, you'll see what's called organic search, which we call search engine results page, or the SERP, SERP. But the top three in the snack pack and the top one on the organic search results get 90% of the clicks. 90% of the clicks total combined between the two. So, and then it diminishes after that. So basically, if you're not on page one, I mean, you're not really going to get a lot of business. You'll get crumbs. So the goal is to be in the top three. You don't always have to be number one, especially with ads, because that gets expensive if you're trying to pay for number one all the time. But you definitely want to have your organic in place. So a few things that you can do to get on the web, period, is you want to make sure that you have what we call online listings or online directories or citations. All three of those are the same thing. And what you want to make sure is that you have a Google My Business listing, you have a Facebook listing, a Yelp listing, and a Bing listing. Those are the four major ones. And then from there, there's all kinds of services we provide, and they're out there, but called citation directories or online directory listings, to get the rest of those out there. But those are the big four. So you want to be on those four, and those are done manually because they have to be done first in order for marketing companies to do the rest of that, the rest of the directories. So you do that first, and then the next thing is a website with content. So you have to have a website with a domain that matches your business name. So you don't want to be My Roofing SEO and then say SEOSouthFlorida.com. Like that doesn't, you can try to hack Google that way, but Google My Business will look at it and say your domain, your logo, your information doesn't match up. And so they won't approve your listing. So you want to make sure your domain, your business name, and your logo all match. That's very important. So have a website. Make sure you have at least 4 to 5 services on there. Contact page, about page, blog page, and of course a home page that has good information. And simple is better also on these pages. So you want to make sure your home page is simple, to the point, has your USP like we talked about yesterday, or your tagline right there in the top, call to action. Then have some information about your services, some testimonials about us, and a contact form. Like really that simple. Like we see all these websites that have a ton of stuff, and we'll cover more on that in another post. But so citations, GMB listing, Facebook account with all the information correct, website, and then we get into content.
I want to pause just one second.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, I think you're going to go there. Content. Let's talk about content, and I'm going to drop a teaser for next week. I got Lee Rowley joining me on Tuesday next week at 1:00. Okay. And it's he is a copywriter, and he is going to pull back the veil on copywriting and what makes some really great copywriting.
Absolutely.
For us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So content's the next thing. So like even though you have your online listings and you have your website connected to those online listings, if you don't have any content, then nobody's going to know anything about you. So the content is very important. Not only does it, so websites used to be considered like an online brochure, and they still are. Like I talked to so many people that are like, I just put a website up because somebody said I needed one, or I know I need one because everybody's got one. Okay, but it doesn't stop there, and actually it doesn't even start there. So it's both. So like having a website, having a domain, having some information up is not, you're just barely starting to, you're at the starting line. You're just barely starting to play the game. So content is super important, making sure that it's thorough, making sure it meets Google search standards, which I'll just say, so like a 300 word page is not going to get even crawled by Google. A 600 word page will get crawled by Google, but it won't rank at all. You need to be 800 to 1,000 words or more to be competitive and even have a chance of ranking. That's because what did we look on Worldometer? It was like 3 million blogs or 1.5 million blogs being written a day, like not even a month, a day, 1.5 million. So it's like, content's being created. Now we have AI that's creating content. I mean, it's going to be insane. So, but the point of that is, so the content on your website should be kind of like your educational and your sales process combined. So 70% of the sales process, or actually it's probably closer to 75% of the sales process is done today by people searching, reading your website, reading your reviews, doing all that stuff before they even get to a sales representative of your company. So 75% of the work is done before they even talk to somebody, which means they've made up their mind before the salesperson has even gotten on the phone and given their pitch. So if they're calling you, chances are they've done research on you, because that's how powerful the internet is. So yeah, content should be educational, and it should also have a bit of sales points in there. And then I'll move on to the next thing. So then the content has to be SEO'd properly. It has to have the right headlines, the right links in it, external and internal. Has to have, what else? It's got to have the keywords. Keywords are still important.
Yep.
The biggest thing is your content. So we just saw this earlier today in the footer of somebody's website, stuffing 20 cities and 20 services all in their footer. You want one topic per page. So if you're talking about residential roofing, one page on residential roofing. Don't stuff commercial roofing and TPO, EPDM, and all this other stuff inside that residential roofing page. Just talk about residential roofing and the stuff involved with that: asphalt, shingles, flat slate, flat shingles, slate, or wood shingles, or whatever it is that relates to residential roofing in that page, nothing else. So that's important. And same with blogs. If you're talking about a blog topic, only that topic. Don't try to put 10 topics into one blog. So then you SEO it, and then calls to action. And then,
so I want to pause. Pause for a minute because we got a couple of questions coming in from
cool,
from our viewers, man. Just Alex asked, should we have a domain before we set up all these pages so the URL can be part of the verification? So talking about the citation process in Google My Business and getting all that set up.
Yeah, absolutely. You could set up some citations without a website, but generally not. Like, you want at least the domain. Even if there's nothing on the website itself, having the domain like bought and on a server and being hosted so it's live is the best thing you could do with like a maintenance or a coming soon page, because Google and these other citations are going to require and even in our services, like when we put it into our software, it requires a URL. You have to put a URL. So I put one the other day. I was talking to a client that didn't even have a domain yet. So I put in like, like a domain that we thought he would be able to use after doing some research. I put that domain in just to even be able to do the report. So it's super important, to have a domain registered before you do all that.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely great advice. Alex also asked another really great question. Alex, thank you so much for the questions.
Yes,
How does SEO play into your 4 to 5 recommended services you list? How do you know what services you should be targeting?
in your business, like the 5
Yep.
services, how
Yep.
does SEO play into that?
Yep.
Well, so you want to do a bit of obviously keyword planning. We're looking at the services that people are typing in on Google. So we're researching those. We're finding out what the top services you offer in your business that people relate to. So, yeah, it's just like I said, with residential roofing, people don't generally type in residential roofing, but it's a huge keyword to differentiate you between residential and commercial roofing. So that's an important differentiation. And then inside of that, a lot of people are going to type roof repair or fix my roof or, storm damage or roof damage or roof repair, so those will all be in that residential roof page. So SEO, so you have your main title, and then you have the other keywords and topics inside of that relate to that main topic that are all part of the SEO plan there. Is that answering the question there, Alex?
Yeah, appreciate that. I think that does answer the question. It is a great approach to it. To me, the big takeaway there is doing keyword planning and thinking about what people are actually searching for before you try and really target those. Target how you're going to approach those service pages. So
exactly. So set up your 5 services is like top tier, and then have a list of 5 to 6 keywords on each one that you're going to talk about, and then build out really good educational content that puts those keywords in there. And you don't want to put the same keywords like more than 3 or 4 times in the topic. So, because that'll also hurt you if you try to put like 20 of those, put residential roofing 20 times in an 800-word page, you're going to get in trouble with Google. So
yeah. Not only that, it typically reads terrible when you do that as well. So
you want the content to read like a story and flow well. So yeah.
So, and like I said, next week, Tuesday, we're going to learn all about that. So, so Alex also asks how we do keyword planning. How do you measure intent versus keyword searching to play into overall strategy? And so let's take a step back and just explain what intent versus keyword searching is.
I think he's talking about KSI, but So, I'm not an expert on KSI. I mean, I know it's there. I mean, there's tools for using it, but basically it's saying like, if I type roofing or roofer, Google knows that you're looking for that roof contractor. So it's like, whether it's ER or ING, it's kind of the same thing. So saying I'm a roofing company or a roofer company, Google's going to figure that out and kind of translate it for you. So I think that's what he means by that. And what was the rest of the question?
Yeah, so I just want to add a little bit to that because we talked a little bit about this on Bow Tie Up last week. But the other part of it is thinking about, like, if you're a retail company, right? And so if I search, Jurassic Park T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Google sees my intention is to buy a T-shirt.
Yes.
So it's going to show me more shopping generated leads. And so when you think about what you're offering as a service, you have to think about, what is the intention of what I'm offering, right? Is it a product I'm buying? Because that's also going to play into your keyword strategy. So
yeah, that's a great point. So absolutely. So if you type in like, what are the shoes? Yeezys. So if you type in Yeezy size 12 red, you're literally like, Google knows that you're looking to buy. So it's going to pull up, and that's a whole thing with Amazon and Google shopping and all that stuff that people optimize. But basically, I mean, the keywords they're using are very specific to that buyer, because if somebody's typing Yeezy size 12 reds, like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, they're looking to buy a pair of Yeezys. They're not just like, what is a Yeezy, So again, like, if somebody types what is a Yeezy, they'll get a Wikipedia article, they'll get blogs about Yeezys and maybe like how they're hot sellers or something like that. But it'll be a different search than somebody typing in specific, like, size or shape or color of a product, because Google knows that they're intending to buy. So yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot. I mean, SEO is very technical and there's a lot to it. So that was complex question, but yeah, hopefully we answered that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So I want to talk a little bit. I want to shift gears a little bit because I mean this stuff gets deep, and we could we could talk for hours
3 hours
this
about
and get super technical. And Alex, I do really appreciate all the questions.
Absolutely.
You are hitting some really cool key points. But I want to talk a little bit about the social world. Because social drives so much of what we do now. I mean, if you ask my wife, I spend too much time on LinkedIn as it is, but business comes from there. So how do we structure our social so we can drive people to make buying decisions either from our social or to our webpage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I did. I think we did some blogs on this on the Elevator a while back, but there are Google ranking factors. There's 4 major ones. 2 of the major ranking factors are the online directories and citations that we talked about. One of the other major ranking factors is social media in the way of engagement. So it's not enough to get a post up there and liked. The post should be shared and it should be commented on. So if you have, and we all have this, we have pods or friends that like, hey, like our post, whatever. But just liking a post, like I said, it's not as much of a qualification in getting your social out there. So then Google sees this, what are called mentions. It sees the mention of your company or your product on social media and relates it to engagement and basically like in a search capacity that people are looking at that topic. And so it helps a percentage of ranking with having those mentions on social media. So it's very tactical, very strategic. But yeah, like I said, it's not enough to like. You have to get your post shared and commented on and respond to those comments and keep that engagement going. And that's really going to help drive some of your ranking factors.
I am a social media junkie myself, so I've played in the algorithms a lot, and that there's so much truth to that, especially from the Google side. But when it comes to your content on the platform, I think it's important to mention that you have to tailor your content to the platform you're on.
Yes,
something that works on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, gives a lot more value to quality content, a little bit longer form content. They give less of a priority to hashtags, and they don't allow it. I shouldn't say they don't allow. They don't give really any priority to any external link that's going to take you off the platform. So these are things that you should all be considering in your content strategy to when you're putting out content. And it's not just enough to put out the content, right? Because I could put out a post every day, but if I never go comment on somebody else's post, why do they care about commenting or liking or giving any credit to my post as well? So you need to be engaged in that social community. And it does take a little bit of time. And there's a lot of tricks and tips that we can go through to get there. But these are just kind of some of those surface level things. I am working on future show to get some of our LinkedIn experts and some of our Facebook experts on the show to talk to you guys about how to really build your presence as a business in those spaces. But it's important to think about the quality of content and the platform you're using.
Absolutely. So like Facebook's more of that, like, to me, it's more of that like casual, some relief. There's a lot of humor on there. Video, stories, good, bad. It's like your conglomeration of humor and just like keeping in touch with people. Whereas LinkedIn is more of a professional. You see a lot of articles from Forbes, Entrepreneur Inc. You see a lot more business savvy news. You see a lot of we see some political news. There's news about the funding, the PPP program. That's the kind of stuff you see on LinkedIn. And I think I'm hearing you say is like having a LinkedIn article is better than linking to a blog kind of thing. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I think there's advantages both ways.
Both ways.
But
yeah, and then
it just depends on your intention and where your audience is at, right? If you're getting low traffic on your blog and you want to push more traffic there, I would drop a comment. I would drop a link in the comments, which is not going to hurt your reach for that post.
For that post, yeah.
But if you are getting plenty of traffic on your blog and you just want to add value to your audience, then I would go ahead and also post that article on LinkedIn under your articles section and broadcast it that way as well. And maybe at the bottom of that article, drop in just a link to the blog. See the original post here.
Exactly, because we talk about data all the time, and like if I look at my analytics here, I should say our analytics, but we look at our blogs, we see that like a lot of traffic for our blogs comes from organic, and it's like, so we're already getting that because of SEO and the kind of content and the education we're talking about in those blogs, and people are curious about those topics. So then it just kind of supplements when you put it on other social media pages. And then Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, you know, it's good too. Instagram's a lot of visual, Twitter's a lot of short, you know, with a couple of hashtags and a link or something. But there's also two sides to social. I mean, you have the paid side and you have the posting side. So for me, the organic side is more of the it's like more of the what was I going to say? Building your brand awareness, basically. It's more brand awareness. Whereas the paid side, you're not going to do like an article and boost an article. It doesn't really make sense. What you're going to do with the paid side is lead somebody to a landing page, a product, something that you want them to buy, put them in what's called a funnel or a workflow. That's what you're going to use the paid side for. So I see a lot of people all the time, they post a picture of a roof that they did, and then they boost the post. And that's great. Like you're boosting a picture of your portfolio, but they'll spend like $20-$30 on that, reach a ton of people, but there's no pulling them into a funnel. So it's kind of like if you're going to spend on social media, like PPC on social media, make sure you have a plan behind it. Because if not, you're just kind of throwing your money out there to show a bunch of people, but it's not really going to bring you a lot of results.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting that I think is important to call out. Your social posts need to have a call to action. You need to tell your audience what to do.
You have to tell them what you want them to do because they're not going to know, and they're just going to like or comment, and you're not going to build the...
For LinkedIn, and I would even say this for Facebook as well, your call to action should not be come buy my services. Your call to action should be driving a conversation of some sort. Personally, my strategy, I like to ask an engaging question, open-ended question that people can talk about. And then you get in the comments and you have all kinds of great conversations. And you know, honestly, that's where a lot of my deals come from, is just having conversations with people and then taking it to the next step and going to a DM or a phone call and talking about what they need from that. So, just keep that in mind. You know, paid posting, paid bumping of posts can have value in the right context. You just have to be targeted about it, or else your ROI will definitely drop. You know, you won't have an ROI.
Well, you won't know even what it is because you haven't strategically measured what you're going for. And so basically it's like, well, I know I spent $30 on a post, but I got nothing from it. Whereas you could have spent $30 and gotten two or three leads from it, depending on, you know, what market or industry you're in. You know, if you're selling a product, you don't want to spend more than a couple bucks to get a customer. I think it's like $4 or $5. Yeah. But if you're selling a high ticket service, you might spend up to $150 for a lead.
Yep.
So it just depends on what, like I said, what you're doing, what your business is, what your industry is. But yeah, it's all important for digital marketing for sure.
Yes, no, I agree, and so I wanna move into final thoughts. We're about to that time,
Sure.
And Nicole, awesome. I'm glad that you're taking notes. Please get in contact with us if you want to learn more. We'd be more than happy to talk to you. That goes for anybody that's listening, watching, or catching the replay after the fact. Let us know. So, Final thoughts, man. What is, if you had to give a company that one statement, you can only tell them to do one thing in digital marketing, and I know that's hard. What is that thing?
Focus on making your website a machine that makes you money while you sleep. That's the best thing I can tell you.
I love it. And you can do that with all of the tips that we talked about today. Those are just those foundational items. Obviously, there is a ton more. It is a huge technological rabbit hole that we can go down. So if you're looking for web page services, you're looking for SEO services, you're not sure what you need in digital marketing, Josh, how can they get a hold of you to find out more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can hit us up at hello@elevateragency.com is that's the main parent company. That's what I check all the time. And you can call us on the phone at 561-290-0684. That's the elevator number. And you can call on there, get a hold of us. And we're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, My Roofing SEO. If you look that up on any of the social platforms, we should come right up. And and I just want to say real quick as a thing, like, to me, branding and marketing and advertising is so interesting. I've been studying it for about 20 years now, and really, doing my best to learn and educate and help people with it. But I'm super passionate about it. It's not just something I picked up because, like I said, I had that store back, and people were asking questions, but I was interested in that stuff way before that and learning about it and the economics of it all. So I'm here to help you guys and, help you succeed. Adam and I are very passionate about helping people, and, all roads lead to Rome, but there is right and wrong ways of marketing and branding yourself and doing SEO. So we want to make sure that you do it in a way that's tactful and strategic and works and helps you be successful. So.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and joining me on the Winning Tactics podcast. I appreciate y'all putting up with me today for a little bit of self-promotion for my own personal project, but
absolutely,
it's a topic that I think is really important for a lot of small businesses. It is one of those things that can differentiate you in the market. So I felt it was really important that we talk about it. So look forward next week, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here with the one and only Lee Rowley talking about copywriting and how that plays into the marketing experience. Some of those tips and tricks and talking about storytelling, and I know he is going to bring it. I will also be on his show Monday at 4:20. So look for me there as well. Given all the plugs, I appreciate you guys. Tolgar, thank you so much. Nicole, Philip, Alex, appreciate you guys coming in and watching. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.